This is our video project showing how we use concept mapping to facilitate our learning. My name is Peter Lee.
And I'm John.
In this video, we will use the program for the study of anatomy and how we integrate our maps with previous ones to gain a cohesive understanding of assessments, evaluation, and intervention. I will talk about how I reorganized my maps from the first semester in a way that is more easily accessible to me. So we'll begin with the shoulder unit. My shoulder maps and elbow, wrist, and hand are all pretty much made in this fashion. Since there are 3 chapters for each unit, I actually placed 3 maps, as you can kind of see here. Here, here, and here. They're very large maps. As you can see, here's the structure of the bones there. And here are your muscles on the one side, as you can see. Since these maps are very big, it's very slow on the computer, which makes it kind of cumbersome to use. And here, going to the third map here on the other side. So there's one large map on the top, one on the side, and another small one. As you can see, this is not a very good way to study, as it slows down the computer a lot. The pictures are very big, and this is when I first started concept mapping, so I didn't really know how to use the program as much. So just a comparison to what I did with this map and the map, how I reorganized it. Here's the other map, the new map that I made. As you can see, I have made several sheets on the bottom here. Here is the main map for bones and joints. And here is the main map for the muscles. As you can see, there's pictures here, and these are the topics that are covered. And this is actually a complete map that you see can open up. Here, let me go ahead and close this one so it runs faster. As you can see, all these actually open up into the whole concept map. But just to see it as for topics, I like to just do this because I can access these maps from here as well. See, the bones are here, joints are here, and total shoulder movement. So for bones, all you have to do is click the tab on bones, and you have this whole map that is only on bones, as you can see. And joints, which is a larger topic, like this. And I didn't color coordinate this map as much as I did the other ones, but it is somewhat color coordinated. I had placed all the clinical relevance boxes in green. So, because these are the very important points that we need to learn in clinic. So they're in green, and they're in a different style here. I've shrank the pictures down quite a bit, and then to match the letters, that way don't have to scroll around the map as much. And I have also made purple boxes for the videos. As you can see, you can click the little icon and the video will pop up. These are short videos from the Otis textbook. All right. Muscles. You see, I also have made hyperlinks here, so you can also go to it. So say you only want to look at scapulohumeral muscles here, you can click this icon, which will take you to the scapulohumeral muscle page. Okay. And see how everything is organized in this fashion. Okay, so yeah, these are the this is the map for the shoulder complex, and for each one of these is pretty much I've done the same with all my previous maps, which had 3 maps onto one page, you know, one on top and 2 on the side, and I have split them up all into different tabs here. bones and joints. For the elbow, we have the flexors, the extensors, the supinators. You can see all the pictures I have taken from the internet that make the most sense to me. And again, icons that link you to another page so you can get a clearer view. Sometimes when the maps are really big, it's very hard to see. Here is a link to a YouTube video. You can see, straight to a YouTube video, which will stimulate. Oh, look, there's the anconeus muscle being stimulated by an EMG. Okay, go back to this map. And the wrist and the hand, I actually took a different approach from the shoulder and the complex because I found this really interesting format, which is called the fishbone. I think, as you can see, it lists them out, it lists out your topics really clearly, and with the other topics here on the side, structure of bones and wrist. And here are all your topics, and then the joints are over here. Oh, and for the muscles on the wrist here, I also found this format, which I thought was really useful in comparing, because you can do side to side. This is a timeline format, so you can do the superficial and the deep and then compare like that. And if you wanted to compare superficial with superficial, you could drag this one, you know, up here, and then compare them, two superficial sides, dorsal and volar, and compare them like that, which I found was pretty helpful. And there's combined actions, synergistic functions, and even comparing strength. They're all in here. Flexion versus finger extension, all your relevant information. And those are the pretty much what I did to consolidate all these maps from the first semester, so they look a lot nicer and just easier to follow. You see how every section is color coordinated accordingly. And I found that even when you're not actively studying these maps and you're just messing around with colors or format, you do still learn a little bit. Just because you're moving around the boxes, you're looking at these pictures whether you want to or not. And that, in a way, is kind of, I think, is a way of kind of like passive learning. And okay, and I am finished talking about how I reorganized my maps. John will talk to you about how he mapped Radomski Chapter 2, which is involved in sensory, and how he integrated with his maps in the past.
And now I will talk about my concept map. I prefer to use the top to bottom approach, as I usually read linearly, as you can see from here. As you can see, I have highlighted all of the main subjects from the chapter. The subtopics underneath them are highlights of the subjects. As you can see here for Phase 2 techniques, I highlighted the main subject of the text, and then I included valuable points below each of that. Only the most important parts are included. Some of the topics in this chapter describe interventions or assessments. I included those along with pictures that describe the intervention in order to give me a better idea of what I'm looking at. As you can see right here, here's a picture of 2-point discrimination. Here's one that describes a graphesthesia test. And here's one for mirror therapy. There are several others like this surrounded throughout the concept map. Here's one on sensory reeducation. Here's another handy little picture. And another one under sensory training, which would include deep massage. Right here as well. And another picture for desensitization techniques. And now I also included some assessments not mentioned in the chapter for supplemental learning. Such as right here, the monofilament test. Right here, the Moberg pickup test. And right here, the 2-point discrimination test. These additional assessments are from older concept maps that I have done before. I also added the assessments as sheets in order to make my viewing easier, without all the additional information, so that it makes it easier for me to find later. Here's one on 2-point discrimination test. Here's one on the Moberg pickup test. And here's one on the monofilament test, each with their own custom background to make my viewing easier. Finally, for the original concept map, I added a basic wallpaper background in order to make the concept map more aesthetically pleasing. Overall, this concept map was constructed in the most efficient manner possible in order to facilitate my understanding of the chapter.
Alright, so just one more thing about these concept maps. I just wanted to mention that none of these maps are actually complete. They're all like works in progress. I reorganized all this map, but I still have to go back into the information and probably like all these words truncate a little bit, maybe add links and pictures to things that are outside what I have just from the book. So even John's concept map that he made, I will probably take this map and probably format it in my own manner so I can understand it. I mean, he has done a good job with the pictures and setting everything up. So now it's just up to me to go back in and make it so it kind of makes sense to me.
This concludes our presentation on our concept maps. We hope you have enjoyed it. I know we did.